The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. We haven't talked about AI in a while. AI is increasingly crazy. I was having a good conversation with someone, with a friend, and they were talking about how if you're nicer to the AI, you get better results. And I started trying more of those techniques, and I'll be damned if that doesn't absolutely work. But anyway, the more angry and use of cursing and other things you put into your question, the more pissy and short the AI is with you. It's fascinating. I look forward to our new AI overlords. Anyway, this mail goes, "Hey, Perchington. I'm really puzzled by this debate around using IA." Oh, autocorrect screwed you there. AI in the writing process for comics, and I'd like to know your opinion about this. I've been reading comic books for most of my life, and I think it's a great medium for sharing great stories and also great art. Also, I'm a software engineer, and I've experienced working with AI and creating products that use this tech. But I don't see how something like ChatGPT or similar products could ever replace a human writer. Depends on the human writer, but we'll continue. So I'd like to know your answer about the following questions. Number one, how are we going to evolve and improve stories if we're using something that only uses stories text from the past to get results? Well, so first off, AI can help you if you get creative around it, around story structure and concept ideas. Look, if you put into a ChatGPT something along the lines of, give me a wholly original story that revolves around Wolverine that's never been published before, it will write something up for you. Now, some of that will be based on the past, and some of it will be based on things that make no sense. But as a writer, it could be a pretty good crutch to give you, more. I don't think that ChatGPT is going to be writing you a done-in-one, ready-to-go comic script. I don't think those days are here, and I think those days are a ways off. Will that happen? Possibly. I think the key there is, will enough information get fed to ChatGPT that the scripts it produces will be, intelligent? Now, granted, if you told me right now that I could replace Tom King with ChatGPT, I'm signing that check today. I'm ready to do it. I don't see why somebody at DC can't write into ChatGPT, pick any obscure DC character, deconstruct their story in a depression-fueled hate comic that will make everyone sad for having read it. And I'm pretty confident it will give you a script that's superior to a Tom King script. I'm just saying. But you're right. I think ChatGPT and AI, I think, is more of a crutch, and I think that crutch is useful to creating comics. I don't think it's going to actually create the comics at the moment. But let's keep going. Question number 2, what is the real improvement over replacing human writers for a machine when some of the real issues with comics are not about quantity, it's about quality of the product? Well, yeah, one of the arguments for ChatGPT is like everything can get done faster, and you don't have to wait for Dan Slott to fuck around in getting a script in over 20 days. ChatGPT could just whip you out in 30 seconds. But it isn't about quantity. It isn't about speed. It is a little bit when you have to hire Christos Gage. By the way, I'm so disappointed in so many of you on this channel. By the way, I make a joke about, are you excited about the new Christos Gage Spider-Boy book? Now, and everybody's like, no, we don't like Spider-Boy. No, fuck that guy. Guys, the book is in solicitations written by Dan Slott. That's a joke, because poor old Christos Gage comes in to ghostwrite for Slott on a regular basis. That is the joke. I get it. It's an in-joke and everything else. Come on. I taught you better than this, people. Anyway, I think that if you're looking at pure quality, again, ChatGPT can provide a skeleton. It can't provide a true story. So it's not going to make a better piece of content. It'll be a while before it does. Now, a while could be a year or 2 years or 3 years. But right now, if you go to ChatGPT and you put in story ideas, you do get a lot of derivative kind of nonsense that would not make a good comic. But I think it will get smarter. It will get better. And a lot of it will depend on the question that's being asked to it. But if you say, by another experiment I've try going to ChatGPT and say, I want a 6 comic arc. Each comic is 22 pages. that includes a globe-trotting adventure for Captain America that is true to the legacy of the comic, but also tells a new story. You will get a pretty goddamn good result. Now, again, not good enough to just stand on its own. Human involvement does need to take place, but you're getting a pretty good outline. But the thing is, ChatGPT and AI and a lot of this stuff in general, they won't necessarily produce creative ideas. They may produce a higher quality derivative idea. Now, where I would say, so thus the human writer is always better, except there are a lot of human writers that do really terrible derivative work. So, could some of the writers be replaced by AI? Yeah, possibly. I definitely think some of the writers could be replaced by AI and a reasonable editor that's going to go and kind of make sense of some of what's being produced. But I don't think I don't think we should be trying to solve for using a not very creative AI to replace a really shitty writer. Like I think that's the wrong game. The right game is, how do we get really great comics? And if we have a shitty writer, you can replace it with AI. You can replace it with a dog that can hold a pencil. You can replace it with some random homeless person on a bus that just shouts ideas to you. You can replace it by just reprinting an old issue from the past and pretending it's a new comic. I mean, there's a lot of options for replacing a shitty writer. ChatGPT is I suppose one of those, but that's not the right answer. Anyway, question number 3: why are writers so afraid of this tech when there are no real success cases for this tech in writing stories? Because the writers are losers. Because the people. Sorry, that's unfair. That's unfair. I think a lot of creators are worried about AI in general because they do see a day where they don't get a half-ass and phone it in, and the AI is just quicker and better. And so for people who are not terribly creative, yeah, it's a worry. I think a lot of but a lot of this falls into the same concern that people had about NFTs. Like, oh my God, it's going to crush art. Well, no, probably not. Probably it's not going to crush art. So there's a lot of kind of sky is falling behavior. And I think that a lot of this case, I've talked to other writers. I'm like, have you actually used ChatGPT? Have you experimented yourself and you've seen the results of coming out? Because if you do that, you're going to be a lot less worried. And the writer's like, I would never touch that thing. I don't want to feed it my information. It's like, all right, well, then you're going to continue to be scared of something you don't understand. And that is silly. Anyway. Question number 4, why is there excitement from some fans about the possibility of writers being fired when the trade-off will be generic stories written by some algorithm? Well, that one's easy because some of these writers are hated. And, the fans are not excited about AI replacing the writer. They're excited about the writer getting fired. AI is a bonus. I mean, you could just not print a comic at all, or just, again, print a reprint or whatever else. There's some writers who have generated so much dislike and hatred. Dan Slott, probably one of them. Tom King, people like Vita, Mags, etc. The usual suspects that you hear about on videos all the time. When people say, I can't wait for that to be replaced by AI, they don't really care about the AI replacing them. They care about these people getting fired and it being embarrassing. That's what's going on. Anyway, we'll wrap up the mail. It says, the way I see it, this tech will be used for writers in the future to rewrite some dialogues or get different options for the same scene, but anything else will feel too generic and uninspired. I'm not quite there. I think it will get better. I think the quality will improve. I think that there will be, real changes to some of these books. I do think so. So there's possibly I'm underestimating AI and there will be able to use to replace people in a few short years, but I don't see a machine being able to capture the human element or the soul of these characters. Thank you for your time. Love your channel. Thank you. I mostly agree with you. I also don't think AI is going to replace a great writer. I think AI could be used to replace a lot of bad writers, and I think AI could be used to change the process of how comics get made by just changing the mechanism where AI creates the outline and the structure, but then, some writer has to come along and flesh out the details. I think that's what we're looking toward. I think that's what we will see. I don't think a really good quality writer is going to get replaced by AI. I think some shitty ones might be, but I think the shitty ones are going to get replaced by just being shitty at their job, and AI may just be kind of the method by which some of that happens. But if AI didn't exist, I think they're still going to get shit canned. So that's what I believe anyway. What do you think? AI, big threat, not big threat, something to worry about? I think AI to do different profiling and other things is a bigger concern. I think for pure creative work, I I have my doubts, but who knows? Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, of course, and thanks for listening.